Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. What little thing would you make illegal? Just because it bothers you? Autoplay ads or videos. Google has banned them now. If you have autoplay ads, you go onto an ad blocker that is included in Chrome. Also, pop-ups will be blocked entirely if you use ad pop-ups or pop-unders. Even wanted pop-ups will be blocked. Better ads org link. Support google.com link /7,539,006 HL equals N. Support google.com link /7,159,932 HL equals N. CNN can suck it. I hate that website with their videos that autoplay 3 times. Making the volume go way up for commercials. Man, that really grinds my gears. They made that shit illegal decades ago, but I don't think it applies to streaming services. It also doesn't matter. Volume isn't what they use. They use sound compression to make the overall volume low, but it will boom like a damn jet. The volume question is a complicated one. The content provider, say Channel 11, sets a baseline volume for their content called dial norm. That number is what all the equipment uses as a baseline for the max volume for that content channel. Every show that plays can only really go down from there. So if you're watching a movie with explosions, the dialogue and most of the movie will be turned down from dial norm so that the explosion can happen and be louder than the rest of the movie. Here is the rub. The commercials are allowed to run at dial norm as that is the max volume of the rest of the content. In other words, the commercial isn't louder than the explosion, so it's legal. Those shitty little trick X's on ads that shift around when you try to close them, so you accidentally open the ducking ad. Worse, the ones that are just chopped into the ad image and take you anyways. Or ads that load after the rest of the page, so you go to click one thing but then the ad loads, so you click the ad or something else because it moved the rest of the page. Or ads that load before the page and can't connect to the ad server, making it so the page itself never loads. Spam phone calls. I've gotten to the point where I just don't answer phone calls unless I know the number or I am specifically waiting for a phone call. If I'm not, I just reject the call. If it's actually important, they will leave a voicemail. Same. Only exception is if I'm looking for a job, but otherwise I ain't dealing with people I don't know. Yup, looking for a job would be a time I'm expecting the calls. Pretty much job searching and waiting for doctors' calls are the only 2 times I can think I would answer an unknown number at this point. Trying to get on a crowded train before other people have had a chance to get off should be punishable by firing squad. It's already punishable by shoulder check. Exercise your rights. I wish shoulder checks were an everyday way to punish someone for a duck up. What's that, roommate? You didn't buy more toilet paper after using the last roll? Duck and bang. Shoulder check. I'd like to add elevators to the list. Just casually standing in or immediately in front of doorways. Or walking through a doorway and then immediately stopping to figure out what direction to travel and talk with your friends. There are people behind you. I always get very embarrassed when the group I'm with does. I try to gently guide them to a more suitable resting place. I feel like a shepherd. Sometimes. Gentle might not be the right word. I will physically move friends or family out of the way of others if they are being oblivious. Which isn't very uncommon. Using car horn sounds and radio broadcasts. Police sirens. Pet peeves aside, it really should be illegal to have real siren sounds in ads and music. It is a driving hazard. Seriously. I nearly jumped out of my skin one morning on my way to work because an ad started with an insanely loud police siren. Cutting in line. These people think the world owes them something, and if they would get fined $450,000 they might rethink their life choices. There's a little old lady at my bus stop that is constantly cutting the line. It's annoying as hell. Makes me want to move to England where they understand how to queue like proper folk. Oh, whenever elderly try to cut the line, I make absolutely sure that I leave no space between me and the person in front of me. Interruptions during movies. I worked in a theater and I hated having to go yell at people annoying others during the movie. Side note. Yelling and throwing people out was also my favorite part of the job. A question for an ex-theater employee. Are you guys ever able to kick people out who constantly have out their bright ass phones out during the movie? I've walked right up to a guy who had his phone out the whole first half of Insidious 3 and told him to turn it off. But I feel if I told an employee, hey, that guy keeps blinding me with his phone, and the guy denies it, what happens then? Worked at Odeon, UK cinema chain, and yes, we gave warning after someone complained. Hung by the door for 5, out of sight, a-hole whips it out again, he was removed. Always awkward as if he is going to argue. But gives the best peer pressure comeback, please come quickly and quietly sir. You have already distracted people from the movie enough. Oh, that's actually pretty good. I hope that's what they do here in the US. I hope it doesn't come to that, but sadly it most likely will. The last few movies I went to, there's always a few people in the crowd that pull their phone out to scroll Facebook for a few seconds periodically throughout the movie. Enrages me to no end. Thanks for that answer though. Loud music on public transportation. You know what I mean. The a-hole without headphones. Who plays music off his phone speakers? Super irritating. I actually had to tell my so that playing her music on a speaker while walking around a store is considered rude. I don't understand how she missed that one. That's crazy. I just assumed they didn't give a duck. Never occurred to me they might not know better. I think a lot of rude things people do are the result of them not having any idea most of society thinks it's rude. 2 or 3 people walking slowly side by side, taking up half or more of a hallway. Is it wrong that I get uncomfortably close to them so they move out of the way? You are doing God's work. Junk mail. Rip up everything that isn't the return envelope. Stuff the shreds in the return envelope. And mail it back to them. Capital One and Sirius XM no longer send me anything. I think we should all start doing this. Start using the return envelope with empty applications. It'll cost them twice as much for no return. They'd end that practice pretty quick. They will have to pay the postage rate for that brick, which is not cheap. Leaving your shopping cart in the ducking middle of the aisle. Bonus fines for those people who leave it in the parking lot. Especially those that leave them right next to the cart return but not actually in it. That's why our carts in Germany have a deposit. You put in €1 to use it. You get it back when you put the cart back. But no. The USA has to have full convenience. Excessively loud talking in an open plan office. Yeah Bob, hold on one sec, let me open my door wide and put this conference call on speakerphone. I'm gonna have to shout into the receiver. Why? Why do I do any of this? I'm important obviously. A few weeks ago my boss and I were going over my prospecting and sales calls. He asked how many I was making per day and that he hadn't seen me make any. I said in courtesy of the rest of the 12 people in the open concept room that I went into the closed office to make my 2 hours block of calls. He asked why I would say such a thing and that doing calls in the open would be motivating to the rest of the team. I'm pretty sure the only thing the team would be is pissed off. I worked an inside sales job for about a year and we were told to be loud. Stand up when you were pitching the product. Oh, the prospects said it's loud? Good. We want them to know we are wheeling and dealing. It was awful. There is a place in my town where a highway goes through a tunnel and then splits into 3 exits. The whole tunnel split area has no lane changes signs everywhere and solid double white lines. People change lanes there constantly so they can push their way up a few spaces. They can't even claim ignorance. Because they announce the exits a mile and a half before the tunnel on 3 different signs. I think whipping, followed by the crushing of your car into a cube, is an appropriate punishment. Charging hundreds of dollars for textbooks. In a better world, not only would that be illegal, but the people responsible for the practice in the first place would be publicly executed. Advertisements I can't put directly through the shredder. Duck you Amex. Quit sending me 3 inches thick envelopes with heavy duty inserts and random plastic cards in them that I have to disassemble before I can put them where they belong. I plan to never use one of your cards because you've wasted so much of my time. Putting your turn signal on after you've already stopped to make your turn. Stop blocking everyone behind you. Isn't that illegal? It's the same as not putting turn signals on, right? Yes. At least in the US it is. There is a certain minimum distance by which you are supposed to signal a turn or you can be ticketed. I'm not sure what the distance is, but it's definitely more than just a few yards, and yes, I'm certain cops rarely enforce it. You're also supposed to have your signal on for a certain amount of time before changing lanes, and I do know people who have been ticketed for that stupid turn on the blinker at the same time as changing lanes move. Cutting people off and going slower than they were going. The inventor of resort fees should be drawn and quartered. It's not illegal as a reason for doing something. You're just being a dong if that's your only reason for doing something. And a corollary. I can't remember where I heard this, but someone once said that defending a position by citing free speech is sort of the ultimate concession. You're saying that the most compelling thing you can say for your position is that it's not literally illegal to express. I like Michael Che's joke about freedom of speech. Something like, when they were making the amendments Rule 1, I should be able to say whatever the duck I want. And I guess if I can say whatever I want, then Rule 2 should be that I can carry a gun. People not picking up their dog's poop. Isn't that already illegal? I think that's defined city by city. Here in Germany it is just illegal. If you are caught, that's like 60 euros. Still, there is dog poop at some places. Unnecessary speakerphone. Not being ready to pay when you have been in a long line and then you get to the counter. Also, not being ready to order. Come on dude. Give the people behind you a shot. Join our community Discord, link in description. Talking and or using a phone during a movie at the movie theater. I swear nobody can sit through a 2-hour movie without checking their phone anymore. Between that, loud kids, and people that think they're being funny by making witty commentary throughout the movie, it can get pretty ridiculous. I turn my phone completely off before the trailers start. I don't understand people who need to look at Facebook halfway through an experience they paid $20 for. Especially when you're also ruining the experience I paid $20 for. $20 to $40 for a movie? Holy shit. I think the most I've ever paid is $14. Shit. Don't move to Southern California. There's a theater called Cinepolis. $30 for a ticket. The kicker? They have in-theater service. So your expensive ass movie gets interrupted by someone asking what is gluten-free on the menu. Shopping carts left to explore the parking lot by themselves. 30 seconds. To return the cart to its corral. Yeah, I am looking at you. Ice monopolies. Modifying the exhaust on a motorcycle so it's loud enough to make your ears bleed. Chewing with your mouth open. Go back to the farm, you cow. I'm doing a project with one other person. Every day. Not kidding, every day. She walks in with a bag of chips and eats them right in front of me while she's talking. I don't mean casually slipping one in between sentences and carefully eating it. No. Shoveling them in and talking with her mouth full. Duck. You could have taken any part of that 30 minutes you saved by coming in early to eat those somewhere else, and you pick right here right now. One of my old co-workers was so ducking loud that you could hear him above whatever phone conversation you were having. He did it on purpose too. It's so hard to help a customer over the phone when all you hear is obnoxious crunch crunch crunch. When people take something out of the microwave before the timer is up and then don't clear the timer. Not driving a consistent speed on the interstate highway. Other people should be able to read and anticipate what you're doing. And there's no damn reason to have regular 20 miles per hour swings in your speed. Smoking in your car with your kid in there with you. I see it constantly where I live. And I want to beat people to death for it. Go duck up your lungs all you want. It's a free country. I'll not judge you. I used to smoke too. But don't duck your kid up because of your addiction. It's now illegal to smoke in the car whilst accompanied by anyone under 18 in the UK. That's already illegal where I live. That's great. Wish they did it here. But even if they did, people still do it. Driving in the left-hand lane when you aren't passing someone. If someone comes up behind you, they are attempting to overtake you. Get the hell over that. And I would incorporate minimum speed limits on a federal level. This is already illegal in a lot of jurisdictions. There's a reason why there are keep right except to pass signs on the highway. Maybe. But not enforced. Should have specified. Music and chain restaurants. I want to sit and have a conversation. I can't do that when I have to yell over the music. Have you been to a restaurant with no music playing? It's extremely awkward. I can agree with setting a maximum volume level though. Taking children below 6 years to the movie theater. That's why we always take our little ones to the local drive-in theater so they can be loud in the privacy of our car. I hate distrusting others. That said, I've taken both to super early screenings of kid movies and they've both done just fine. But that's probably because it was early enough. Where do you live that still has drive-ins? That's so cool. Texas has drive-ins in several cities. I don't want to say exactly where I live for the sake of anonymity. But we do have several. Dropping cigarette butts on the ground. If it were up to me. When you die, you go into a purgatory where you have to go around and pick up every butt you dropped before you go to heaven. That'd be an eternity for chain smokers. He's got an eternity in my purgatory. Driving on the left lane causing backup of cars since there's no way around others driving the speed limit. Also being on your phone while driving. I'd make it a death penalty. Being on your phone while driving. I'd make it a death penalty. It certainly can be. Not taking the right of way at an intersection. If it's your turn, just go. Scraping your metal knife and fork on your teeth. WTF, is this a thing? A lot of people unintentionally scrape their fork on their teeth while eating. You've probably been around many of them and never even noticed. For some reason though, this drives some people absolutely bonkers. It's like nails on a chalkboard to some. All cans must interlock on pain of death. Littering. I didn't realize how much it bothered me until I started taking public transit and saw how often people did it. Edit. I guess it's already sort of illegal. But there should be heavier punishments for that shit. No touching a computer monitor with your fingers. That's just nasty. Treating a yield sign as a stop sign. I guess this is a sign my life is alright because this may be my greatest inconvenience. Sometimes you have to stop to yield. Unless there is an extra lane they're just begging to be used. Chewing with your ducking mouth open should be punishable by death. I have been driving a lot lately so this is oddly specific. In long drives I use cruise control. Some people are in a hurry so they get up on my ass when I am passing, so I speed up a little and move over. 20 minutes later I pass the same person and then they eventually get up on my ass or block me from passage, so I have to brake, cruise and slow down behind them. Just go one speed. Stop you yelling all over the damn highway. You are causing problems for everyone else. Beaching. Beaching is now illegal. Complaining is fine. But just constant complaining. I.e. beaching is now illegal. My post is now illegal. I am beaching about beaching. Slow walkers. Talking loudly via speakerphone on a conference call when you have your office door wide open. Shut the ducking door. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.